These four players are going to help you win in week 9, but not just week 9. We're going to win through the entire season because today I'm going to show you some players that are not only going to help you for the now, but help you in the future because the playoffs are right around the corner and we need to wade through the storms you have created by drafting incorrectly and pick the correct players this week to help you from now and in the future. So let's get into it. Our first player is Tyjae Spears because, yes, one, Derrick Henry could be traded. And honestly, if you're Tennessee Titans, trade him. What are you doing? Why are you holding on to him? But I digress. Let's get back into Tyjae Spears because he has played at least 52% of snaps in 5 of the last 6 games. And although it hasn't led to a lot of volume, in week 14 through 17, the Titans get the Miami Dolphins defense, which has not been great against the run, the Houston Texans twice, which we both know have not been great against the run in the past, and Seattle, a pretty decent matchup for run defenses. Here's the issue. Derrick Henry's older, so if he does stay, there's always the chance of injury. Derrick Henry has the chance of being traded right now. You could be watching it on trade deadline Tuesday, or you could be watching this video in the future. And if you are, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. But Tyjae Spears has that ability to be explosive. They're looking for explosive. Yes, Derrick Henry is beautiful, but right now they are leaning on Will Levis, and they need to see the future because Derrick Henry is not their future. Ryan Tannehill is not their future. Hell, DeAndre Hopkins isn't really their future. So it is time for them to come out, put the young guys in, and give them a chance to play. If he's already seeing 52% of the snaps, be smart about it. You know that number is going to rise. And if that number rises, you have a player on your bench that you're stashing that is going to help you wipe out your opponents and win your fantasy championship, let alone just winning in week 9. The second player we're going to talk about is yet another running back and somebody that I pushed in my Guys video above, and it is Zach Charbonnet. We have talked about his talent. He has 3 down talent. He was drafted in the 2nd round, so it's a high draft capital. And Kenneth Walker, as much as he has been awesome, he has the tendency to be home run or bust. If he doesn't hit that big play, then he's not going to do anything special for your fantasy team. And I'm starting to realize that the Seattle Seahawks need something consistent in that backfield, and that's why Zach Charbonnet has gotten a lot of carries. Now, could that be because Kenneth Walker had the injury that he was dealing with leading into the game? Who knows? But if you have somebody on your bench who hasn't really been performing, and Zach Charbonnet is out there, and he should be a 36.2% roster right now between ESPN and Yahoo leagues, then you need to go out there and you need to grab him because what he can do if he does become the lead back to an offense like the Seattle Seahawks is he can elevate your running back position. And honestly, let's be honest, we need that. There's no Nick Chubb. Tony Pollard's doing nothing. Joe Mixon's dead in the water. You can go through A.J. Dillon. You can go through a billion people that aren't doing anything. We always need a running back. And Zach Charbonnet will give us that in our waiver wire this week. Now, we have not one, but 2 quarterbacks in the almighty quarterback position that is going to help us win fantasy football this week and in the future. And we're going to give you the one that I like the best right now, which is Gardner Minshew. And then we're going to give you a long shot. So stay tuned here. But this long shot could win you a fantasy championship if it all breaks down correctly. But let's swing it back to Gardner Minshew real quick. In his last 3 starts this season, he has finished as QB 23, QB 18, and QB 3 in fantasy football. But his coach on this team that is leading the league in plays and with a weak defense like the Indianapolis Colts have right now, what's going to happen is that the Indianapolis Colts have to. They have to run a lot of plays to keep up with people. I want you to think a la Kirk Cousins. And side note, terrible defense, great offensive scheme, lots of fantasy points thrown up on the board. That's what we're getting here with Gardner Minshew. I want you to think of the Kirk Cousins. I want you to even think of Jameis Winston when he was on the Buccaneers because he is turnover worthy. That's what he does. Gardner Minshew does have issues with turnovers. But before week 8, he was 10th in yards per attempt and 15th in adjusted completed rate. With the combination of that coach, the weak defense, and what they need to do to survive in games, we have seen it the last couple games. They have thrown up 20-plus points, but they have also given up 20-plus points. We want a quarterback who's always going to be in a shootout, and that will be Gardner Minshew, my friends. And Gardner Minshew is only rostered at 12.2% on ESPN and Yahoo leagues. So, did the alarm go off? Did you hear that? That's because we have to talk about this home run play because, he's on the cover. Taylor Heineke. Why am I pushing him? If you've been with me all offseason, then you understand that I have a weird obsession with Taylor Heineke, and it's not because I think he's really that good. We're not here because I'm talking about his talent. We're here because I don't like Desmond Ridder. Now, he left at halftime due to concussion, and Arthur Smith is never going to help us. I mean, let's just think about a couple weeks ago. He gave Bijan Robinson the day. He was clean. He was healthy, clear bill of health, and then bam, here's the issue. Well, okay, he had a headache. He couldn't play. Okay, so we don't know what's going on with Desmond Ridder, so let's swing it back to Taylor Heineke. Imagine a guy who I believe is more talented than Desmond Ridder, who has proven it in the NFL, who has helped Terry McLaurin score points, that even helped Jahan Dotson score points. If you put him under center in this offense, he will have Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, 3 talented pass catchers on his team. And you will have a quarterback who has a more capable arm, who isn't throwing, I believe it's 7 interceptions and 8 fumbles or vice versa those, but he has a ton of turnovers in the first few games, Desmond Ridder. You can't win games if you turn it over, and I think Arthur Smith is realizing that, and this concussion has just helped everything happen. So if you cannot get Gardner Minshew, if he's already gone, Taylor Heineke is rostered in 0.1% of ESPN and Yahoo leagues, and he is the hidden key, the DJ Khaled key of winning championships. So please do not forget to look at Taylor Heineke this week, because it might not happen this week, but you might be ahead of the curve like the Joker, and you can win your league because you'll have them before your teammates even think of them. All right, our final guy here, the guy that I love, and we were talking home runs, so let's keep talking home runs. Rashid Shaheed. He is out there still. I promise you, he is under 50% rostered in ESPN and Yahoo leagues, and he has a 12.4% target share, and that will shy people away, but that's because they're stupid. So if you can get a guy who has 24.9% air yard share with a 1.89 yards per route run against zone coverage, that's what you want. If he is tied on the team for second with 2 end zone targets against zone, which is something that's big because teams don't really play man anymore. That's big. He has 0.37 fantasy points per route run against zone 2. Again, no man. Man's not really a thing. Get that out of your head. It's very rare that happens. When they see a zone, they look at Rashid Shaheed and they say, run fast. If you beat your coverage, we're throwing it deep. And let's talk about it, because Derek Carr does not like throwing to Chris Olave. He doesn't hit him. There's something wrong. There's just a weird mind meld there, like Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham. It just didn't work. But when he goes to Rashid Shaheed, fireworks. It's beautiful. Everything comes out perfect. So Rashid Shaheed needs to still be on here. And we talked about him last week, and you should have got him last week. If you were listening, you wouldn't have to do it now. But do it now. Get him. Look at Taylor Heineke. Go look at Gardner Minshew if you need him. You still have Tyjae Spears. Oh, and hey, Trey McBride is still out there, 13.7% rostered. So, maybe hop on that, because I told you to do that last week as well. And then you always have Zach Charbonnet to elevate not just your running backs, your tight ends, your wide receivers, but your quarterback position. I helped you everywhere but defense. And if you need any help with defense or kickers, leave them in the comments, because I'm not going to waste time in the video. But let me know your favorite players that you're picking up. Let me know your start-sit questions that you have. Talk to me. Let me help you with fantasy football in week 9, because we're not just playing for week 9 anymore. We're playing for fantasy championships, which means we need to start thinking ahead and getting some of these players.